Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Ravisher, and this is going to be a really quick episode, episode 2 of my Getting Better at Halo 4 series. I initially was going to make episode 2 gameplay tips and tricks. However, I see people have some problems with personal ordnance from my experience playing matchmaking, so I'm going to do this really quick video just going over a few tips to help you get the most out of your personal ordnance so you can do better in your games. I'm not going to talk about what weapons you should be calling in because that's pretty straightforward. On the bigger maps, you're going to want to call in the longer range weapons for the most part, or maybe like an explosive weapon like the rocket launcher or the Spartan laser. And then on the smaller maps, you're going to want to call in more close quarters weapons like the shotguns, the sword, or something like the sticky detonator. However, what I do want to talk about, I'm going to make it really brief, just because I want this to be something that you guys think about when you're playing, not so much something that I don't think you're doing already. But you really need to make sure you are thinking when you're calling in your personal ordnance. And by this, I mean thinking through where the enemy is and where you want to call in your personal ordnance before actually calling it in. I cannot count how many times people get their personal ordnance and they're so excited, like, oh my god, I'm going to call my rocket launcher, or oh my god, I'm going to call my fuel rod cannon. I've never got one before. And they just call it in without any regard for where the enemy team is or what the situation around them is. And they end up getting killed, or they end up getting their ordnance stolen, which is even worse because then the enemy team gets it. So I'm going to give two really quick examples of some gameplay that I recorded today. Just some food for thought when you're calling your personal ordnance. Exhibit 1 being me playing on Haven. As you can see, I'm using the DMR. I run into this guy right here. We get in a BR fight, which I win. Ordnance ready. I have damage boost, needler, and scatter shot. I'm actually thinking about calling my damage boost. I'm pretty excited, but then I realized that there's a whole team spawning right in front of me. Initially, there's only one guy, but their whole team ended up spawning. If I had called my damage boost there, I would have got jacked. So I ended up waiting until I respawned and I was safe, and then I called it in then. I end up going on and getting about 3 or 4 kills with my damage boost, definitely helping my team out. But it's just an example of you don't always have to immediately call in your ordnance. And I know this might seem straightforward, but I notice a lot of players doing this in public matchmaking. So always pay attention to where your enemy is or where your teammates are when you're calling your personal ordnance. Just because there's no one around you doesn't mean that you should be calling it in. It's always safer to call it in when your teammates are around you, because that gives you less chance of getting jacked, and if you do get killed, then one of your teammates can pick it up instead. The second clip, which is also on Haven, where I'm top mid, and I get this kill, where I also get my ordnance, and I get overshield, or shotgun. And I'm thinking about calling my overshield, but I see a guy there, and then I look at my radar, and I see 2 guys behind me, one on my side, and a nade about to kill me. And miraculously, I did survive. But if I had called in my overshield there was a very good chance of me getting killed before I could even pick it up, or the enemy getting it. So I wait until the enemy's dead and they're respawning, and then I pick it up, and then I go on the offensive. So, just a slight example of waiting before you call your ordnance in, and thinking and paying attention to where the enemy team is before you call your ordnance in, to make sure that it doesn't get stolen. So again, I just want to make it a really short video. I know it might seem straightforward, but a lot of players seem to be having difficulty calling in their ordnance too quickly, and I see a lot of ordnance getting stolen. So guys, make sure you are in safety when you call in your ordnance, or at the very least there isn't somebody breathing up your neck, because it's a big difference between getting 3 or 4 kills with the power weapon or the enemy getting 3 or 4 kills with the power weapon they stole from you. So episode 3 is going to be a lot meatier, I promise. It'll be coming out this weekend. I'm going to be going over gameplay tips and tricks relating to fighting itself. And then after that, I'm going to start going over the maps, power weapon spawns, where you should be positioning yourself, just general tips, etc. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't already checked out episode 1, you should definitely do that. It goes over all the starting loadouts and everything you need to know before you jump into your first game. And yeah, subscribe for more Getting Better episodes and a lot more Halo 4 stuff. Thanks, guys.